Akash and see the real reflection of you. Today on Not Getting Hit by Cars. Telling a little story of storytelling itself. I haven't made a video in quite some time, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you haven't made a video in quite some time. What's going on with you? Are you out of stories? Do you have nothing to tell? Like, what's going on, guy? So I was like, today, I gotta make a point to make a little video. I was driving home yesterday from martial arts class, and on my way home, I was thinking to myself, like, this idea struck me, and I was like, it struck me like lightning, and I was like, zzz. No, I wasn't actually like, zzz. I would hope that I wasn't like, zzz, because lightning didn't actually strike me. But what I'm trying to say is that an idea struck me, and that idea is that my story is the most interesting story in the world to me, and similarly for you. Your story is the most interesting story in the world for you. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, I was hanging out with a filmmaker friend of mine, and bless this guy. I mean, talk about, like, experience, talk about an eye and whatever. Like, just, he knows how to make films, right? He's been doing it for, like, 40, 50 years now. And he was running me through a couple ideas. I actually felt really privileged and grateful in the sense of, like, this guy thinks, like, I've got some insight on some of his ideas that he's, like, thinking to make a couple feature films on. And so he was, like, running me through the log lines of, like, all right, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. He had, like, 10 of them, right? And he wanted my input on them, right? Like, what do you think? Do you think this is an interesting story? Do you think it's not? And that's what got me thinking, like, what makes an interesting story? And what is the most interesting story? And like I mentioned to you, I think the most interesting story to me is my story, and vice versa for you. So I'm telling all of this because it was relatable directly into my life. Now, I was looking at some of the stories that he was showing me, or some of the log lines that he was showing me. I was like, ooh, that one maybe, not so much. And obviously questions came about. Well, why are you doing this? What does that really mean? What's the real point of this one? And whatever, right? Like, getting into it. And I think that's what we all do in our own lives. It's like, I know for myself, I ask myself, oh, well, what does that really mean? Like, this event happened in my life? What does it mean? Or what's the theme of this? Like, what does this have to teach me? Or where do I go from this, right? All of these questions, they come about in one's own story, And that's part of the storytelling, That's just a part of it. So, I don't know. At this point, I feel like I told quite a bit of a story about stories today. The story of stories. Well, from the beginning of time, human beings have decided that this idea, this concept of a story is highly important. It's our way of transmitting communication or transmitting information in a way that's not only engaging and not only engages with the senses, but engages with the mind and the soul itself. And these stories have ways of changing people. They have ways of awakening in one an idea. And, well, that's what the purpose of stories is. So the story of stories is that in and of itself. I don't know. At this point, I'm kind of out of talking about stories on stories, but then again, if I really applied myself, which, how much am I really applying myself right now? Maybe like 70%. If I really had to give a lot, maybe probably even like 60 or 50% if I'm being really honest with myself. Or if I had like some type of like acting coach being like, really apply yourself, Akash. And then I'd be like, all right, well, let me really apply myself. What can I say right now that's like really applying myself? I don't know. I don't really know, but I think even just that little challenge of what could I say? What could I do? All of these little things. What does it really mean to apply oneself? That in and of itself is the interesting part to the whole thing. keep up, thrive, and stay sexy.